Hi friends, just a quick message. If you are enjoying the content of this channel and you think you would like to take the time to support me, anything is appreciated, even $1 a month if you want to. Check out the link down below. Patreon. Thank you. Namaste and enjoy your meditation.
Welcome to Corys Conscious Living. Are you ready to meditate with Corey? And make sure that you're laying down in a comfortable position. Everything is just right on your bed. The light is just right in your room. You're laid still and quiet and ready to relax and listen to the story. Heidi, Cherry and Vaya had been building a rocket ship all day with Jayden. Jayden fancied himself as a little bit of an astronaut when he grew up, so this was the perfect day for him. It was one of his favorite games. It had got to almost nighttime. Vaya had decided that she wanted her own rocket ship, and she made it purple, pink and gold, and it had gold tinsel Christmas wrappings all over it, and it was awesome. She loved it. Jayden, Cherry and Heidi focused on their rocket ship. It was really, really tall. It was made out of cardboard boxes and a bunch of other things that they found around Jayden's house. And it was looking extremely cool. When it got to nighttime, everyone took their rocket ships outside onto the back garden, and they were going to fly the rocket ships to the stars. Jayden, Cherry, and Heidi got into their rocket ship, and Vaya parked her rocket ship directly next to theirs and got into her rocket ship. Vaya said, "Me thinks my rocket ship's gonna go the fastest. Me thinks mine's the bestest and the prettiest, so mine's gonna go the fastest." Jayden said, "No, our rocket ship's better than yours and it's gonna go faster than yours." Vaya said, "No, I think me likes my rocket ship much better and my rocket ship's gonna go fastest. I can tell because my rocket ship is gold and purple and pink, and that means it's the best and it's gonna go fast, really, really fast." Jayden interrupted. He was getting a little bit flustered. He said, "No, our rocket ship's gonna go the fastest. Isn't it, Cherry? Isn't it, Heidi? Our rocket ship is going to go the fastest because it's better and cooler than Vaya's." Things were getting just a little bit heated. The problem was, Jayden didn't really have an easy time when it come to competition. Sometimes it would get a little bit stressful and it would get very intense, and he would really, really, really want to do his best and win or be the best at whatever he was doing. And that sometimes made him get upset if he didn't win, or upset if he didn't come first, or upset if things weren't going his way. He would get upset. Now, Jayden probably did this because he'd decided in his mind that being the best, or always doing your best, or coming first, or always winning was the only way to be. Like everything else was bad. Second place was bad, third place was bad, failing on your video game was bad. Just not being perfect or the best or winning was bad in Jayden's mind. And we all know that that's really not the case. But to Jayden, it was very important to win. or be the best. Cherry decided that she was going to help the situation before it got any more escalated. Cherry said, "All right, come on everyone, let's just get in our rocket ships. Let's go." Everyone sat down in their rocket ships. Heidi started to make a rocket sound as if they were moving off the backyard and they were going up into the sky. They were all, of course, using their imaginations because their rockets were made of cardboard, but still, your imagination is a wonderful thing. They were flying through the night sky, and Cherry said, Jayden, do you see that star? Do you see that big, bright star, the biggest one in the sky? Do you see it? Jayden looked up at the sky, and he knew exactly the star that Cherry was talking about. He said, "Yes, I see the star." Cherry said, "Well, do you see how it's really bright? And some of the stars around it aren't so bright. They're like a little bit dim and maybe smaller. They're not as big. Do you see that?" Jayden said, "Yes, I see it." And by now, Heidi and Vaya were also listening to whatever it was that Cherry was talking about. Cherry said, "Well, do you know what? Do you know that biggest, brightest star? Well, that's you. Did you know that?" Jayden said, "What do you mean it's me?" Cherry said, "Yeah, it's you, 'cause you're a star. Like, you're a star. Literally, like a star. I'm a star. Vaya's a star. Heidi's a star. I don't mean like a star like, you're a superstar. I don't mean that. I mean, you're actually, scientifically, literally a star. Like, you're made of oxygen and carbon and iron and nickel and all the other elements, right?" Well, Jayden happened to be quite a scientific whiz kid. And like I said, he wanted to be an astronaut when he grew up. So he knew that stars were made of those things. She said it again. "Did you know that? Because I think it's awesome. Listen, stars are made of oxygen, carbon, iron, nickel, and all the other elements, right? And then listen, this is awesome. Listen. And then what happens, right, is that stars actually get old. Like people, they get really old. And when they get old in the sky, sometimes they just crumble and deteriorate and turn into stardust, right? And sometimes they explode if they're big enough. And when they explode, it's called a supernova. I like that word, supernova. Anyway, listen. So, when they get really old, sometimes they deteriorate, right? And then they turn into stardust. And then stardust falls from the sky billions of trillions of millions of millions of millions of millions of miles and lands on all the planets. And it lands on Earth, and then it lands on the plants, and it lands on the trees, and it lands on us, and we eat the plants, and we breathe in the trees, and we are everything around us. So that means, guess what, Jayden? We're made up of the same stuff as a star. We are oxygen and carbon and iron and nickel and all the other elements, just like stars, Cherry said. So that means you're a star. You are that big, bright star in the sky. Jayden liked the idea of being a star. It brought a very big, happy smile to his face. But Cherry wasn't finished with her point. She had a point to all of this. She wanted to help Jayden understand about being the biggest, brightest star and how sometimes that kind of seems like you're winning, or you're always right, or you're doing the best that you can. Being the biggest, brightest star, you would think, would be like being the bestest person, right? Cherry tried to explain.
Well, like when you're the biggest, brightest star in the sky, then all of those other stars, look around, Jayden.
Jayden looked up at the sky.
All of those other stars around it aren't so bright, right?
Jayden said, right.
Well, I want you to imagine that star over there, that star right there, that's Jordan, your friend. And that star over there, that one right there, that's Kiva. That's your friend, right? And then that one over there, that tiny little star that's not so bright, that one's Corey, right? And then that one over there, that one's Braden. Right? Imagine that all those stars that are around you, that are smaller, that aren't so bright, they're your friends. Right? Can you imagine that?
Jayden said, yeah, I can imagine that. So Cherry said, by now, Heidi, by the way, was very intrigued, and so was Vaya. She was listening, sat in her rocket ship, with gold tinsel wrapped around her head so it looked like a tiara. Everyone was really listening very intently to Cherry. Cherry then said,
well, how do you think your friends feel not being the brightest star in the sky? Because it's kind of like if you're the brightest star, then you're the winner. Do you think you're better because you're the brightest star?
Jayden thought about it for a minute and he said, well, the brightest star is the biggest star, and it is the star that you look at, and probably that means that you're like the winning star because you're the brightest star. And Cherry got excited because she knew Jayden was understanding. She said,
well, how do you think your friends feel if they're never first place, and they're never the brightest star, and they never get a chance to be first, or a chance to be right, or a chance to do things their way? How do you think they feel being like a dim, tiny, small star that no one ever looks at? It doesn't seem fair, does it, Jayden?
Jayden thought about it for a second. No, you're right. It doesn't seem fair if I'm always the brightest star.
No, it's not fair, because sometimes I want to be brightest star. If I were brightest star in sky, you know how I would feel? I would feel awesome. I would feel like really important, and I would feel really proud of myself because I was the brightest star. And I suppose that's what you feel like when you've done something right, or when you're winning, or when you're beating everybody else in a competition. You feel important, and you feel like special, and you feel like everyone likes you because you're winning. Well, that's what I would feel like, right? But if I'm never the brightest star, then how am I going to feel like that? I'm not. And I'd be sad,
said Cherry. Jayden had never thought about it that way. He'd never thought that always having to be first place meant that everyone else that wasn't first place was just like the smaller stars, the dimmer stars, and they probably didn't feel so great. He never thought about the fact that him always having to be best would make everyone else not feel so good. And Jayden really cared about his friends. He loved Kiva and Jordan and Corey and Braden. He loved them. He wouldn't want to hurt them or make them feel sad on a purpose. He realized that right there in that moment, yes, he liked being the best, and he always liked to do really good on his video games, and he always liked to win in competitions, and he always liked to get first place or be noticed. I mean, everyone does, because it feels nice when you do something good. But then Jayden realized that maybe the other people that weren't getting first place didn't feel so good. And maybe it's good that sometimes he doesn't win, because that means one of his friends can be the brightest star. Cherry could see all the thoughts flying around in Jayden's mind. He was thinking about everything very, very, very hard. He paused and thought about it, and then he looked over at Vaya and he said to Vaya, I think that your rocket ship is the coolest. And I think you're the brightest star. Cherry's eyes got really, really big. She was very happy with herself because she realized that Jayden understood her message. He understood exactly what she'd been saying. That it's okay to not always win. Even if it feels great when you win, it's okay to not always win, because someone else is being the brightest star for a change. Someone else gets to feel awesome and great and proud of themselves and good about themselves. Someone else gets to be the leader or be the best. And that was okay with Jayden, because Jayden inside was really sweet and loving and kind, and he loved his friends. It all made sense. He didn't have to be the brightest star. He could let his friends be bright sometimes, or he could even let complete strangers, children or people that he didn't know, be the brightest star sometimes. It didn't matter if he was always the brightest star, because Jayden was awesome and cool and smart and funny, and he was a bright star all the time anyway. Cherry smiled at Jayden, and Jayden smiled at Cherry. And then Heidi said, well, I have something even better than that. Did you know that you're actually more than a star, Jayden? Did you know that you are actually the whole universe? Cherry said, what? OMG! What? Heidi said, yes, because the whole universe is made up of the same thing as stars: oxygen, carbon, iron, nickel, and all of the other elements. So if the whole universe is made up of stars, and we're all mixed in together, then it's kind of like you have the whole universe growing inside of you. Just like you are a star covered in stardust, you're the universe covered in universe dust. Cherry said, OMG! How cool is that? We're all like little universes walking around. I'm not surprised we're so awesome. We're awesome, aren't we? Jayden, we're awesome. Jayden said, we are definitely awesome. Everyone laughed. Everyone decided to get back on the point of what they were doing on Jayden's backyard and actually carry on flying to the stars and the planet in the rocket ships that they'd been building all day long. It was nice and dark now, and they were all laid on the grass. The stars were up in the sky, and each one of them were looking at the stars, all the different sizes. Some of the brightest ones, some of the dimmer ones. All of them were fantastic. And what made them even more special was maybe they were sprinkling stardust on the earth, on top of them, laid down on the grass. On Jayden's back garden, right now, as we speak. Magical stardust falling all over the world. Jayden closed his eyes and decided he would take just a little nap. The cats all snuggled in around him. It was a nice, warm evening outside, just a slight breeze in the air. You could hear the crickets and everything that comes out at night speaking to each other. Stars were bright, very, very bright. And Jayden thought about his friends and how he was going to let them all take turns at being the brightest star. And whenever he got upset in the future, if he thought he was losing or he thought he wasn't doing very good, he would remind himself it's okay to not be the brightest star every time. It's okay to share and let someone else feel great and awesome and special and proud of themselves. Because he knew he was great and awesome and special and proud of himself anyway. So it was okay to share. He relaxed all of his body. Everything started to melt into the grass. His bones got heavy. His feet, his legs. He relaxed his shoulders and his head fell deep down into the earth. Grass was soft and warm, and the cats were all snuggly and purry. It was a really good day. He was thinking about maybe when he was older, if he did become an astronaut, maybe he would one day be close enough to see a supernova. Who knows? That would be awesome. He let his whole body drift off into sweet, sweet